All right, so we're diving back into Love Next Door this week.
Yeah.
Getting your take on episodes 3 and 4.
Okay.
And let me tell you, your notes have me wondering if this show is living up to, like, its initial promise, or if it's veering into, like, total cliche territory.
Yeah, it's a valid question.
Right.
And your notes really capture that kind of push and pull,
Yeah.
between wanting those familiar K-drama tropes, but also wanting something more original.
Yes. Exactly. Like, I felt like I knew what was coming a mile away with some of these plot points.
Yeah.
Like that whole time capsule thing. Total deja vu.
Yeah.
I mean, am I watching Lovely Runner again, or is this a new show?
It's interesting you mentioned Lovely Runner.
Yeah.
Because you brought it up several times in your notes.
Yeah.
Especially those swimming pool scenes.
Right.
Like, what is it about them
I know.
that feels so similar aside from the time capsule?
Okay, so it's totally more than the time capsule.
Okay.
It's like they took that whole swimmer with the past injury thing and the childhood friends to lovers storyline and just hit copy-paste.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I really liked Lovely Runner.
Sure.
But I'm watching Love Next Door for something new.
Yeah.
Not a rehash.
Right. It's that balance that K-dramas, or really any genre, has to find.
For sure.
Between playing on those familiar tropes to give viewers that comfort and predictability.
Totally.
But also pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
And delivering something unique.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
So is it just me, or does Love Next Door play it a little too safe?
I think the show definitely plays it safe so far.
Okay.
And you're not alone in feeling let down by the lack of originality there.
Yeah.
Especially in those first few episodes.
Yeah.
The swimming pool scenes especially.
It's like we've seen this before.
Yeah. It feels like a missed opportunity.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, like, are they trying to appeal to the biggest audience possible?
Right.
By sticking to the formula? Or do the writers just not have, like, the creativity to do something new?
Yeah, like there's a certain comfort in the familiar, right?
Yeah.
Especially in rom-coms.
Totally.
If viewers find those patterns comforting.
Yeah.
The predictability lets them relax into it. But you're right, it can come at the cost of doing something new.
For sure. It's like ordering your go-to comfort food at a restaurant.
Okay.
Like, it's good
and
it's satisfying.
Sure.
But maybe not the most exciting meal you've ever had.
I love that analogy.
Right.
Yeah. And like a good meal.
Yeah.
A good drama needs a balance of flavors.
Totally.
And so far, Love Next Door is heavy on the comfort food.
Okay.
So will it be able to deliver those moments of surprise to make it more than ordinary?
Well, let's hope they spice things up as we go.
Yeah.
But you mentioned something interesting before about how viewers actually like seeing familiar tropes. Why is that? What is it about those overused plot devices that keeps people coming back for more?
I think there's like a shorthand that develops between the creators and the audience with tropes.
Okay.
You could think of it like a shared language.
Okay.
When you use a familiar phrase, everyone understands without a long explanation.
Right.
Tropes can work the same way.
Okay.
Quickly establishing the characters, the emotional stakes,
right,
what the plot is going to be.
Interesting.
It's very efficient.
So like with Lovely Runner, when you see the talented swimmer dude, but he's got a mysterious past and he's known the female lead since they were kids, the viewers immediately get it.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be romance, probably some rivalry, emotional healing.
Yeah.
And it sets the stage for that kind of story that people already understand.
Exactly. It is like a shortcut to getting the audience invested.
Right.
But the challenge then is, how do you take those familiar elements and like twist them?
Okay.
Subvert them. Find something new within them.
Right.
That's the difference between a good show and one everyone forgets.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
Yeah. And so where do you think Love Next Door lands so far? Is it doing that? Finding something new?
I mean, there are glimpses of it.
Okay.
Especially with Seok-ryu and her whole journey.
Okay.
You mentioned in your notes how much her reboot season resonated.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be relatable for people now, right?
Totally. Like, she realized one day that she's been living someone else's dream this whole time, following what she's supposed to do, not what she wants. wants.
Exactly.
And it took all these, like, failures to realize it.
Totally.
Quitting her job.
Right.
Breaking off the engagement.
And those are big deals for her.
Right. And I think it just makes her more complex, more vulnerable, which I really like to see.
Definitely.
It's just more interesting than watching someone chase a dream they haven't even thought about.
Exactly.
Seok-ryu is relatable.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you just don't have the answers.
It's about self-discovery.
Yeah.
And that's universal.
Totally.
Not just a K-drama thing.
Speaking of relatable.
Yeah.
What'd you think of our main couple?
Hmm.
That scene by the pool.
Yeah.
When Seung-hyo asks Seok-ryu about regrets.
Mm-hmm.
So insightful.
Yeah.
It just felt magical.
Yeah. And it wasn't some big romantic gesture.
Right.
It was the subtlety.
Yeah.
How quiet it was.
Right.
The intimacy.
Yeah, at least you could tell
Yeah.
they have this history together.
Totally.
And those unspoken feelings.
Yes.
I feel that kind of emotional intelligence gets lost sometimes.
Yeah.
Rom-coms love a grand gesture.
For sure.
But it's the quiet moments that get me.
Right.
The glances, the silences.
When you really connect with what's going on, makes you pay attention.
Exactly.
Which is why I was so disappointed with the other couple.
Oh, yeah. Mo-miam and Dan-ho.
I had such high hopes.
I know.
Those early interactions, the chance meetings, being nice to each other for no reason.
Yeah. I felt like it was going to be
a mature, supportive relationship.
Yes.
Between good people.
Ugh. And then the writers just threw it all away.
I know.
With these dumb fights.
Yeah, like the snack aisle.
I know.
Come on.
I was rooting for them.
Right.
And then they did that.
Yeah, it felt so out of character.
I know.
Such a lazy way to add conflict.
Right. Like, why?
It's like they didn't trust us.
To handle a real relationship.
Yeah.
So they went for the cliche.
Yeah, basically.
So what does it all mean?
What do you mean?
To watch or not to watch?
The age-old question.
Right.
Yeah.
We've got these really sweet moments, like genuinely heartwarming stuff, glimpses of real depth, but then the plot repetitive and the characters can be frustrating.
For sure.
So it's a mixed bag, for sure. It really is.
So where do we land?
Yeah. Are you recommending it or what?
I think it depends.
Okay.
On what you want from a drama.
Okay.
If you're looking for something like groundbreaking, really new, it might not be for you.
But
if you just like those classic tropes, like a nice warm rom-com, you know.
Yeah.
And you can forgive the predictable parts.
Yeah.
There's something there.
Okay, so it has its good points.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, I'm a sucker for childhood friends falling in love.
Yeah. No matter how many times we've seen it.
I know, right?
It always works.
It's about finding that balance, right?
Yeah.
Between knowing what to expect and being surprised. And the show has moments that feel real.
Totally.
And they get to you.
For sure.
So I guess it's up to each viewer.
Yeah, exactly.
To decide if it's worth it.
What's a deal breaker for you?
Yeah.
Might not be a big deal to someone else.
Totally.
It's all subjective.
Okay, so before we wrap up, one last thing from my notes.
Yeah, what is it?
It's about Seung-hyo's family.
Oh, yeah.
You wrote that their family life was like cold as ice.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Especially compared to Seok-ryu's family.
Total opposites.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you think that'll be a thing?
What do you mean?
Like as their relationship progresses.
Oh, interesting.
Could be a source of conflict.
Right.
Or maybe even like bring them closer together.
Ooh, I like that.
Right. Like imagine Seok-ryu at dinner with them.
Oh my God.
So,
the culture shock.
Right.
I love it.
It just adds another layer.
For sure.
Makes me even more curious to see what happens.
Right. Like how will they handle that?
Exactly.
I need to know more.
So we've got Love Next Door.
Okay.
It's got its cliches, but also some really heartfelt moments. Leaving us with a ton of questions.
As always.
And that's what we do here.
That's right.
On the deep dive.
We take those questions, unpack all those feelings you have.
Yes.
And hopefully understand the show better.
Exactly.
Or at least why we watch.
So until next time.
Happy watching, everybody.